afternoon. Welcome to Ancient Ayurveda for a Modern You. I'm just going to go ahead and get started with the information here. So welcome. I'm happy that you've decided to spend the next hour here learning about Ayurveda. I hope by the end of this, you'll walk away with a better understanding of your body and how your dosha can affect your health and well-being. Let's dive right in. So some sources that I wanted to share with you, I got a lot of my information from Yoga Journal, Banyan Botanicals, Chopra, Eckhart Yoga. So if you need to refer back, just let us know and we can provide you those links. So throughout this event, I'm going to be using some Sanskrit terms that you may be unfamiliar with. Refer back to this post if you need a quick reminder. So number one is Agni, that is your digestive fire. Ama is a toxic buildup of waste and harmful residue. Ayurveda, that is the 5,000-year-old traditional healing system of India. Dosha is the Ayurvedic body type, either Vata, Pitta, or Kapha. Prakriti is one's inherent balanced constitution or a snapshot of our combined doshas. Panchkarma is a traditional cleansing process, detoxifying the body and strengthening the immune system specifically between seasons. Sneha is the quality of being oily, which helps alleviate dryness and also means love. And lastly, Vikriti, which is imbalances in one's current state. So what is Ayurveda? It is the practice that began 5,000 years ago in India and is based on the belief that each person is unique and should be treated as such. More than that, it is the understanding that everything on earth, including humankind, is made up of a unique mixture of the 5 elements, which include fire, space, earth, water, and air. Understanding your personal compilation of these elements can help you find your ideal diet, mental triggers, physical elements, and the best yoga practices. So understanding your dosha will help you change the way you see yourself. Ayurveda as a science hypothesizes that each human falls into at least one of 3 body types, or doshas. A dosha cannot be seen with the naked eye, but their effects on the body can't be missed. Doshas are thought to be made up of a combination of the 5 primal elements of the earth: air, space, water, fire, and earth. The following dosha types are primarily made of these elements. Vata is made of air and space. Pitta is made of fire and water. Kapha is made of water and earth. Everyone embodies pieces of each dosha, but usually 1 or 2 doshas are dominant in an individual. Up next, I'll be going into further detail on how to determine your dominant dosha. So the first one, Vata. Vata, if you are a Vata, then you would have these tendencies. You've always been thin-framed. You lose weight easily and have difficulty gaining it. You prefer a warm climate and don't like the wind or cold temperatures. Your hair tends to be curly and dry. Your skin tends to be rough and dry. And when you're under stress, you tend to become anxious and fearful. The Pitta body type is made of these tendencies. You have a medium build with medium bone structure. You enjoy competitive activities as well as physical and intellectual challenges. You enjoy competitive activities as well as physical and intellectual challenges, which I just said. You prefer cool climate to a warm one. You dislike heat, especially humidity, and easily feel fatigued by it. So like here in the South, that's probably very difficult in the summertime for the Pitta types. You have a sharp, aggressive mind. Your digestion and appetite tend to be strong, and you have a tendency to get hangry or if those of you who don't know the term, angry when hungry. When you're under stress, you become easily frustrated, impatient, or angry. And lastly, the kapha type, you have a sturdy constitution and large bone structure. You have difficulty losing weight. You tend to have excess mucus. Your hair is thick and lustrous. Your energy and stamina are consistent. And when you're under stress, you become withdrawn, unmotivated, and resistant to change. So, from dosha to prakriti, each dosha represents the 5 elements. They are present in everyone to some degree, but each of us is born with our own dosha balance known as our prakriti. Knowing your prakriti is vital in implementing an effective Ayurvedic lifestyle. Some people are purely one dosha more so than others. Some people are equally split between 2 doshas. Once in a while, there's an individual that will have an equal balance of each dosha, but this is very rare. We can say that someone has a vata prakriti if their constitution is mostly vata and they related most of their vata traits in the list above. If someone has a prakriti that's about 50% pitta, 40% vata, and 10% kapha, we would call them a pitta vata. An Ayurvedic practitioner can help you determine your specific prakriti. So, doshas in relation to season. So, when it comes to balancing your dosha, look at the seasons. For example, in the hotter seasons like summer and early autumn, pitta will be elevated due to the heat. If you're pitta, take time to focus on vata and kapha foods and practices. This will be discussed in the next slides. So seasons, qualities depending on where one lives. So in the spring, when it's warm, lush, and rainy, there's kapha. But in the spring, if it's warm, dry, and windy, it's vata. So in the summer, hot and dry would be vata, and pitta. Early autumn would be hot and rainy, would be pitta. Late autumn, cool and windy, would be vata. Winter, cold, dry, and windy is a vata. Wetness can add kapha. So this is not something you need to memorize, but the above list gives you perspective on how climate can help you determine the appropriate way to balance your body's needs. So let's talk about Agni, because that was one of the terms that I mentioned before. Agni is the Sanskrit term for digestive fire, and it is crucial in Ayurveda for maintaining health and balance. Here are a few Ayurvedic tips for maintaining a healthy Agni. Eat your largest meals at lunchtime. Your internal fire is at peak when the sun is at its peak. So eat your biggest meals when the sun is at its height. Additionally, eat smaller meals in the evening and preferably 2 to 3 hours before bed. So I always say this because your body is supposed to recharge when you're sleeping. So if you eat right before bedtime, you're taking away some time that your body has to spend to digest before it can really recharge and rejuvenate for the next day. So just kind of keep that in mind. Give focus to your meal. So although it may not seem efficient, try not to multitask when you eat. So don't eat in front of your computer or while watching TV or while driving. And eat at a moderate pace. Take time to chew your food, enjoy the flavors. This helps you be more intentional in your actions as well as aids in proper digestion. So here are some tips on sustaining a healthy Agni or digestive fire. Avoid ice and cold drinks. It is normal practice in the West to serve water with ice in it, whereas in other parts of the world, water is served either at room temperature or even hot. Also, when you're eating a meal, take only sips of water to avoid dousing your digestive fire with a large amount of liquid. Drink hot water throughout the day. Try steeping slices of ginger or herbal teas if you want some more flavor. You can cook with warming spices like cinnamon, clove, black pepper, and ginger. Another way to implement these spices into your diet is drinking them in a tea form. Consuming warm foods instead of raw or dry, rough foods. If your food has been cooked with an external fire, your internal fire won't have to work as hard to digest it. So I always remember growing up, and even now, my dad's always saying, "Oh, I want warm food. I can't do this cold food." And I never really quite understood it until I studied Ayurveda. And realized, like, there's a science behind why he's been saying that, and he feels better when he eats warmed food. So just kind of pay attention to that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here in the next few slides. So, tips for a well nourished self: be attentive to your body when choosing what to eat whenever possible. As a general guideline, eat colorful foods. So, foods that are deep blue, purple, red, green, or orange are leaders in antioxidants and are best for boosting health and immunity. Be intuitive. As a general guideline, fresh and home cooked food is always better. Do a little extra meal prep whenever you have time. So, like, what I always say is, you may not have time to fully meal prep on the weekends, but maybe just cut up some vegetables so that when you get home, wash and have them ready to go a few days beforehand. And that way, when you get home from a long day of work, all you have to do is take them out of the fridge and throw them in a pot and start cooking. It does cut back on a lot of time during the week, which makes it a little bit more easy for everyone to kind of do that cooking and make a home cooked meal in the middle of the week. um, and then ideal nutrition comes from a variety of fresh foods that are proportioned and eaten with awareness. So, the diet for your dosha. So, if you're feeling a lot of internal heat, anger, flared temper, or in other words, excess pitta, feed yourself fresh greens and sweet fruits. You can also incorporate milk based foods to soothe the heat. Now, from a naturopathic standpoint, dairy is oftentimes discouraged because it can be mucus forming, it can be inflammatory. So, again, this would be something that you would have to do, um, decide if it sits well with your body or not. So, just kind of pay attention to those things. Going back to that slide, where being attentive to your body and choosing to eat things that sit well with you. Conversely, if you're excess pitta, stay away from spicy dishes, excessive acidic food, and salty food. You can also consider the weather when choosing the best balancing food. For example, on a cold day, eat something warm and grounding, like a hearty soup or like warm rice with cinnamon. So on days with like super cold temperatures, frigid temperatures, avoid salads, especially raw salads, and due to its cold and light qualities. So there's 6 Ayurvedic tastes: sweet, salty, sour, pungent, bitter, and astringent. So we can talk about the details of that in the next slides. So the sweet foods decrease vata and pitta, and they increase kapha. So if you're trying to gain weight, sweet taste is something to emphasize as it attributes to slow digestion. Foods for sweetness include wheat, and again, this is only if you can tolerate it, because from a naturopathic standpoint, a lot of times I do tell my patients to avoid wheat. So this is kind of a case by case on that one. Rice, dairy, again, avoid if you don't tolerate it well. Cereals, same thing, avoid if not tolerated. Dates, pumpkins, maple syrup, and licorice root. The next taste is sour. Sour foods decrease vata, increase pitta and kapha. So the sour taste is made up of water and fire. It stimulates the appetite and saliva production. Sour foods also awaken thoughts and emotions and can improve digestion and elimination. However, sour foods should be eaten in moderation because too much can lead to aggression in the body. Foods for sourness include lemon, vinegar, pickled and fermented foods, tamarind, and wine. So salty foods decrease vata and they increase pitta and kapha. They're made up of earth and fire elements. So salty foods are best for vata because of its grounding and hydrating nature. However, its heat might aggravate pitta and kapha. Salty foods can help stimulate digestion, balance electrolytes, and increase absorption of minerals. Too much salt, though, can have a negative impact on the blood and skin. So foods including salty foods include sea vegetables, sea salt, tamari, and black olives. Pungent foods. Pungent foods increase vata and pitta, and they decrease kapha. Fire and air make up the pungent taste, which aids in healthy agni, or digestive fire. Pungent foods may help stimulate digestion, improve appetite, clear sinuses, stimulate blood circulation, and heighten the senses. Pungent foods may also help you think clearly and more quickly, but too much can make you overly critical. Pungent foods will aggravate the pitta quickly, but efficiently balance kapha. Vata handles pungent taste best when they're combined with sour, sweet, or salty foods rather than on their own. Pungent foods include hot peppers, ginger, onions, garlic, mustard, and hot spices. Next, bitter foods increase vata, decrease pitta and kapha, consisting of air and space. Bitter foods are considered the coolest and lightest of all the tastes. Because of these qualities, bitter foods can be highly detoxifying both physically and mentally. Bitter foods are best for pitta, good for kapha, and the least beneficial for vata. Bitter foods include raw green vegetables, turmeric, green and black, and herbal teas. Astringent foods, much like bitter foods, increase vata, decrease pitta and kapha. They're made up of air and earth. Astringent tastes are cool, dry, and firm. Pitta benefits mostly from astringent food, and its dry, light attributes benefit kapha. Since many beans and legumes are astringent, vata should eat them in moderation. Other astringent foods include unripe bananas, green grapes, pomegranates, cranberries, green beans, alfalfa sprouts, and okra. So in Ayurveda, all illnesses are viewed as a dosha imbalance. To treat these imbalances, the goal is to re-establish a person's natural balance of vata, pitta, and kapha. To achieve this, Ayurveda focuses on two key principles: removing the inciting cause, treating the lingering imbalance with the opposite. And one way to do this is through your diet. Another way is through the mind. So two guiding principles of Ayurveda are the body and mind are inextricably connected. Nothing has more power to heal and transform the body than the mind. So according to the practices of Ayurveda, freedom from illness depends on expanding our own awareness and bringing balance to your Vikriti. The body is naturally balanced through the practice of meditation, a state of restful awareness. It is believed that during meditation, when your heart rate and breathing is slowed, your body naturally decreases the production of stress hormones like cortisol, while increasing the production of neurotransmitters that enhance well-being, like melatonin, serotonin, norepinephrine. So here, enter yoga. So bring your dosha to the yoga mat. Let's talk about yoga and Ayurveda. They are sister practices that both originated in India thousands of years ago. Like Ayurveda, yoga isn't a one size fits all philosophy. Each individual needs a personalized method of practice based on their intuitive health and philosophy. So, vatas and yoga. Vatas are mentally quick, creative, and enjoy movement. Signs of imbalance for them are insomnia, constipation, anxiety, cracking joints, and excessive dryness. For those who may be experiencing vata imbalance, slow, steady grounding postures, such as standing postures, spinal twists, and deep, calming breaths are recommended. Moreover, sun salutations should be done slowly and not rushed through. Vatas who feel imbalanced would benefit from working on poses like mountain pose, tree pose, and warrior variations. Due to the hyperactivity of a vata's nature, it is most balancing to allow for a long savasana, that one where at the end where you just get to lay there, even longer than 15 minutes if possible. So for pittas are particularly passionate, enthusiastic, and courageous. The energetic force of a pitta is mainly associated with digestion, but also enzymatic and endocrine systems. Signs of imbalance are anger, competitiveness, rashes, heartburn, fever, and increased inflammation. Forward folds and heart openers such as bow, cobra, and camel poses are recommended as they bring coolness and relaxation to heat and tension. So the lady here is doing a camel pose. Spinal twists can also be quite balancing. When practicing pranayama, breathing exercises, a pitta should focus on cooling, relaxed breathing. Exhaling through the mouth at times is a good way to release excessive heat and help with hyperacidity and ulcers, which pitta body types are prone to. And yoga for kapha. So kaphas are consistent and devoted, as well as emotionally and physically stable and strong. Signs of kapha imbalance include procrastination, weight gain, bloating, dullness and congestion, a stimulating movement like sun salutation, and vigorous breathing exercises can help bring enthusiasm, heat, and focus. Also, back bends and headstands can bring balance to this unevenness. Savasana can be shorter for kaphas as they will still benefit greatly from a short savasana. So here are a few final tips. Honor your individuality. When you're in a yoga class, it's easy to compare yourself to others, but your body isn't supposed to work the same way as everyone else's. Every person is made up of their own energetic constitution. As a student, it is important for you to be aware of your body type and tendencies in order to tailor your practice to fit you. Live in tune with nature, and nature has made you and knows what's best for your well-being. When you're in balance, you naturally desire only what nourishes you and brings you health. You get restful sleep, move around as you should, and feed yourself with positive experiences, tastes, touch, aromas, sounds, and sights. When you slip out of tune with nature, however, you invite imbalance. You may start craving junk food, stop sleeping well, and ignore your need to move and exercise. Over time, a little imbalance can lead to a major imbalance and cause disease. Sleep is crucial. So, as I mentioned before, during sleep, our body has the best opportunity to repair and rejuvenate itself. A lack of restful sleep disrupts the body's innate balance, weakens the immune system, and speeds up the aging process. Humans generally need between 6 and 8 hours of restful sleep each night. Restful sleep means falling asleep without the aid of medicine or alcohol, sleeping through the night, and waking up feeling energetic and vibrant. And then you need to start your morning off right, creating some kind of morning routine that's helpful for your physical and mental health. Try to include these into your morning routine. Brushing your teeth, scraping your tongue. Tongue scraping is an ancient Ayurvedic practice to help with cleansing. Rinse your mouth and just wash your eyes out with cool water. Anything that kind of just helps wake you up and get your day going. And then just trust your body. Do you know that people talk about having like a gut feeling or a gut reaction? It's not an imaginary thing. Your body has ways of expressing it through signals of comfort and discomfort. So the next time you're about to embark on a path or partake in a behavior, ask your body, how do I feel about this? If your body sends a signal of physical or emotional distress, maybe consider a different option. But if you're feeling okay about it, comfort and ease, then you can trust it and proceed. Thank you for joining our webinar today, for joining Ancient Ayurveda for a Modern You. I hope you learned something new about Ayurveda, and I hope you can use some of this information in your daily practices. If you have any further questions, give us a call at 704-543-5540, or you can visit our website at www.charlottenaturalwellness.com. We are offering free 15-minute phone consultations where we could talk a little bit about what's going on with you and if you have any particular concerns and see how I might best be able to help you. And for those of you who are on the live webinar today, we are offering $25 off of our new patient appointment if you call within the end of this week. Thanks so much, and let us know if you have further questions. I really enjoyed our time together. Thank you.